Yeah, proud of our team. Proud of how we responded to some serious adversity. They obviously didn't play as well as we wanted to against Seattle U, and it was a rough couple days for Christmas. And but our guys, they bounced back with some maturity, and proud of how we didn't get sloppy today. Sometimes those games you can get sloppy and guys try to do too much, but I thought we did a great job sharing the basketball and only had 5 turnovers. And when we're passing the ball well and making the extra pass, those are the games where we go 10 of 24 from 3. And so proud of our guys and how they responded, and now we know what we're in for Thursday against Illinois, and there's a lot of stuff that we got to continue to get better at.
Questions? In talking with Grace, he said that you didn't really jump down their throats or anything like that, but more that you challenged them, hey, this is what it's going to be like, and if you want to be here, then you're going to be here.
Yeah, I thought, trust me, I wanted to. Trust me, I wanted to. But it wasn't the best thing to do for this team. We're not mentally tough enough and to handle that type of stuff. And it's not a group like groups I've had in the past. My 5 other teams, I could light into them and they'd respond. Sometimes this group, I don't know if that's not really what triggers them. A lot of the time. And so I'm still feeling these guys out and what motivates certain guys. And sometimes it's not challenging them, sometimes it's giving them a pat on the butt or whatnot. And, so yeah, I didn't jump them because I didn't think it wouldn't get the result that I wanted or that we needed.
And then just how difficult, not difficult, but how satisfying, how nice was it to get Wilhelm back out there? It just feels like you guys are different when he's with you.
We're totally different, and you could see how much we missed him against Seattle U. And not just that, even Washington State. Really, we played, a game and a half or a game and 3 quarters. He only played 3/4 or a quarter of the game against Washington State too. Which is another thing. Everything flows better with him in the game. We're a more kind of normal team offensively, and then defensively we're way better because he knows coverages. He's played a lot of basketball. He rebounds and his size. But it brings me to a point. I'm glad you brought that up because, I'm really proud of this team. We're 9-4, and a lot of times everybody's just thinking the world is caving in. We lost to Seattle U. There's a lot of times this program and a lot of programs haven't won 9 games all year. Let's not forget that. And this team being a brand new team, that's a hell of a non-conference for these guys. And I know we played 2 league games, but to be 9-4 before New Year's, that's a heck of a job by this team, and by my staff. I'm not taking any credit for it. They've done a really good job scouting, and our guys have, we've beaten some really good teams. All of them, but from Colorado State to Santa Clara, Washington State, I think Washington State could be a tournament team. I really do. They're talented, and for our guys to win those games where all those teams have a lot of guys coming back, and we still found a way to win. And I don't know if I've given our team enough credit or confidence for winning those games because you kind of go in as a coach expecting to play really well and to win those games. But I also have to be a realist too, and I know where we were picked in the Big Ten, and probably rightfully so. Now it's up to us to go knock some of those teams off and really play better, because in order for us to win a Big Ten game, we're going to have to play well. Anybody, there's a lot of things that we have to do better. But, I want to make sure I give our team and the staff credit, for being 9-4 before New Year's. It's a heck of a job by the team.
And in a game like this, when you're obviously able to play a lot of people, the score is, it is. You take what from this game, and what parts of it that you like? Any one player maybe do some things, get some minutes maybe that wouldn't have got. The one person that jumped out at me was obviously Casey because we haven't seen him a lot, and he gave you some things on with the block shots, but anyone from that you saw that you covered?
Yeah, like you said, since you mentioned him, Casey, he had 9 points. I thought he played hard. He did a really good job in ball screen defense. He does a lot of stuff. He did a lot of stuff that the casual fan they have no idea because they don't know what we're supposed to do defensively. And he executed all those, and I'm proud of him because we're going to need him. We're going to need his size and his girth. Like in Big Ten play, he's got to play meaningful minutes for us. And, especially with, like I said, we've had one post guy, now two with Casey, but with Big Frank out, with Chris Conway out, with Wilhelm been out, like that's hard on a team, especially when those are guys that we were really going to rely on. But Casey, I thought he played really well tonight. I thought Christian, shot the ball well. Jace Butler, like in the meat of the game, like he made his 2 threes. He wasn't making them when we were up 30. Like he made it in the meat of the game. No, that's what I look for. But I thought, overall, like I said, everybody played pretty well. I thought Louis came and gave us a spark. When he got in, he knocked down a big 3. He's a load when he's playing the right way.
Coach, I know you just talked about the stretch of games before New Year's. Yeah. I don't mean to double down too much, but what do you take from this stretch of 4 non-conference games at home? Obviously, you can kind of hammer it down, but, you face some adversity and challenge yourself. What did you take from these 4 so far?
From the
non-conference, from Eastern to now?
Yeah, I think like how we responded to adversity. Came off a tough loss against USC. We responded against Eastern Washington, and then played well against Washington State. Then we hit adversity again, and we responded. And so, that's a trait of a good team. It's a trait, that you have character. So I'm proud of our guys for how they've responded to that. And in this league, like it's brutal, and our fans are going to see that this year. And, when they watch us on some of our away games, they're going to see the environments that we're going to be playing in. It's not like stuff that they've seen before. And, it's a different league than the Pac-12, and it's nothing. The Pac-12 is terrific. But when you talk about home court advantages, there's a reason the Big Ten has one of the highest home court winning percentages in the country every year. And it's because when you go to places like Purdue and Michigan State, Minnesota, like the place is rocking. It's always sold out. Like that's Big Ten basketball. And us West Coast schools, like we all got to pack our arenas too now. Like when those teams come here, when Maryland comes here, this place should be packed. When Illinois comes here, it should be packed. Regardless of what's going on, like this is Big Ten basketball and this is what we signed up for. And, that energy, like that can help win games. It helped us beat Washington State, and that. And so it's going to be a challenge, but it's going to be how you respond to adversity. There's really good teams in our league. Like we lost to USC, we got drilled at home. There's other teams in our league that have pros on them and are really good teams that have lost by 30 and 40 points in league already. And so how do you bounce back? Because nobody in this league is going undefeated. They're not. The winner of the league might have 6 losses. I don't know. Like it's that good of a league, and there's that much parity.
You talk about home court advantage. How do you view being at home for, I think, middle of December into early January? Is that a beneficial thing? Would you like to be on the road? How do you just view, this much home time in your home gym?
That's a trick question, okay, because I love being at home, and I love playing here, but we haven't played our best basketball at home, for whatever reason. Like we've had a couple good games, but like some of our best games have been on the road. And I don't know if our guys are just more focused when they're together, but like it's something where we have to take pride in playing here. Like you can't have slip-ups at home. Like it's too important, and we have to be able to protect our home court just like, teams that we go play.
And then talked about the together piece a little bit. Great shared about how Frank told him this group needed to play well enough so some guys who don't normally play get in tonight.
Yeah.
Can you speak to that togetherness with this group? I know you've talked about how maybe to spark their fire and how it's a little different than what you've coached before, but what have you seen with that togetherness? 'Cause both Great and Wilhelm talked about that a little bit when we had him in here a few minutes ago.
See, and that's awesome, and that's something that they did. I had no idea that Frank said that, but like that statement is a culture thing. Like that's a good culture. When guys are saying things like that, that's unselfish. That's our slogan in Ubuntu. Like they want those guys that work their butts off on scout team and in practice every day to get their chance too. And the only way for them to get their chance is for us to play well and have a lead like we did today. But it shows that they care for each other too. And, so that's great to hear.
Hey, I know this game just ended big. Just a quick thought on what's ahead on Thursday.
Yeah, I mean, we have a, you know, I mean, I don't know if you've seen Maryland play this year. They're terrific. You know, I mean, I watched them play, you know, Syracuse, and they just blasted Syracuse. I watched them play Ohio State, you know, and they had Ohio State down. It was almost 40, you know, and that's what I'm talking about. Like in league, like Ohio State's they just beat Kentucky. They went to Maryland and they were down 40. You know, now Ohio State's, I mean, they're an NCAA tournament. They're great, but that's what you deal with in the Big Ten when you go on the road. But Maryland, you know, I mean, you know, the Queen, like he's one, if not the best freshman in the country, one of them. You know, I mean, enjoy him for this year because he'll be in the NBA next year. Like he's that good. He's a monster. But their whole team, you know, they play free. I think defensively, you know, they're the top defensive team in the country. You know, analytically right now, they're the number one defense in the country. And so we have to do a great job taking care of the basketball because they feed off turnovers. And if you turn the ball over, you're going to get blown out. And so we have to do a great job getting shots on the rim, controlling the tempo. You know, if you try to play fast with them, you're in trouble. And the analytics show that too. And so we have to do a good job, like, you know, taking care of the basketball, taking the right shots, and then guarding them, you know, and limiting them to one shot.
How quickly do you shift past this game, and when do you start to focus on them?
Yeah, tonight. You know, we'll as a staff, we'll get going tonight. I want our guys to get away, relax, get some treatment, and, you know, enjoy this win. You know, like I said, winning at this level is hard. You have to be able to enjoy it. And, you know, but once midnight hits, we gotta turn our attention to Maryland, the team does, and get going on them right away tomorrow.
And it feels like we ask you this like all the time, but any update on Frank? Do you think that he could be ready? Probably got a, is any update on Frank?
Yeah, you know, they still said it's probably, you know, 2 to 3 weeks, you know, minimum, was the last update I got yesterday, actually. Mm-hmm. I was hoping it would be sooner, but yeah.
And then the same with your newcomer from France.
With Dom? Yeah. Dom. We're just waiting on the visa now to get him over here. And so I wish I knew an exact date. It could be tomorrow he gets on a plane. It could be in 2 weeks. It just depends when the embassy over there gives him his visa. Mm-hmm.
Just to like that there, how do you deal with this sort of idea that the reinforcements may be coming as opposed to, hey guys, the team that we have is the team that we have, and this is what we're going to go forward with?
When you say reinforcement, you're talking about like recruits for next year,
No.
or are you just talking about Dom?
I mean for Dom and like Frank, like you know, sort of like thinking that they're coming, but you know what? Maybe they're not, and this is the guys that we have.
Yeah, and you know, I don't know if our team thinks like that. They might be. You know, I guess as a player, you know, oh, he's coming in. You know, you never know, but like he doesn't know any of our plays. We don't know what kind of shape he's in. He's coming from France. Like he's gonna have no idea what's going on right away, and so, you know, we'll talk with him and we'll see how quickly he picks things up. And then I know everybody on our team, we hope Frank gets back. Like we need him back. You know, we need his intensity and his physical play, the way he brings energy to the game. Like we need that. You know, because we're not gonna be able to, you know, survive with all the bigs that people are going to be throwing at us, and just to have Wilhelm and Great, you know, and Casey right now, like, you know, you have to have 4 or 5 guys in the stable.
And just a last one from me, just to that right there, just you know, for like fans out here who really don't know, it's one thing to play SC and UCLA, you know, folks here kind of know them. Just your thoughts on just what folks should expect from like Big Ten play. You know, like there's the stereotype and all that stuff, but you've watched more tape than anybody, so what should people expect?
Yeah, I think, you know, they're going to see a totally different body type than they've seen in the Pac-12 and the West Coast, you know, for that matter. Like, you're going to see some big physical hogs, man. I mean, every team. I mean, you're going to see it's smash mouth basketball. You know, it really is. It's you know, probably the best scouted league. You know, like you're not going to trick any of these coaches. You're not going to trick the players. You're not going to come up with a new play, you know, out of a timeout, like things like that. Like you have to screen, you have to cut hard, you have to play with physicality, you got to finish at the rim with physicality. It's the basic basketball stuff that wins in this league, and you have to do it at an extremely high level. But I think, you know, when you see just kind of the size and the pace of play, you know, like teams will play really, really fast, but as soon as you get back in transition, they're executing. and they're doing it at an elite level.
Any other questions? Thanks, Coach.
You bet. Thank you guys. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.